Pull your britches up, boys. Come on, dance with me, man. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming. We find this story in Pakistan's folklore as we trace the origin of the mystic Master Farad Muhammad. In 1177, a child named Usman Marwandui was born into an upper-class family in Marwand, a small town in Azerbaijan. He was educated in the Sufi and Dervish tradition and was a highly regarded religious leader. By his early 20s, he was a highly regarded religious leader, i.e., he joined the order of Qalandria, an elite group of Sufis who gave up everything worldly to devote themselves to the propagation of Islam as he rose to prominence in the order. His name changed to Shabazz Qalandar. A Qalandar is a saint whose actions are believed to be directly commanded by God and are based on love and devotion of God. His mausoleum, the shrine of Lal Shabazz Qalandar, attracts millions of Muslims every year. This was the mystic Sufic vibration placed on the nation of Islam by one Master Farad Muhammad, knowingly or unknowingly. Malcolm was the essence of that movement. His life illustrated the power of truth, which was at the heart of Malcolm's motivation. His life is a meditation for us all. Malcolm represented the righteous element of NOI. He took the name Malik el-Shabazz, the Qalandar. Now, to the core of our little talk. So far, we have revealed to you a synopsis of the history of Black nationalist movement. We have revealed its oneness, its ups and downs, mostly its downfall, why it did not work, etc. In the spiritual science of Buddhism, there is something called the Eightfold Path. In Buddhism, the Eightfold Path is the achievement of nirvana, our oneness with life, nature, etc., emphasizing adherence to truth and moral values and comprising 8 aspects. These are right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, all void of envy, jealousy, and greed. Around 1865, the year Lincoln was assassinated, to the year 1930, time of the Black Nationalist movement started, the Nation of Islam foremost, was about 65 years up from slavery. The concept of the Eightfold Path was not prevalent. It was not a prevalent tenet of the Black Nationalist movements, yet they borrowed much from the Eastern philosophies, and the motivation became greed, causing envy, jealousy, just the opposite of the Eightfold Path. Though the concept of the Nation of Islam was that of receiving the revelation from God in person, like Muhammad receiving the Quran in those days from the angel Gabriel. 90% of the actions of the movement was not holy. Many had no concept of it except by the little information that was introduced from the brothers, the men that came from the East, pimping or using the black people for their own causes. The original idea taught by the leader Elijah Muhammad was to create a sovereign state within the United States for all black people who would join them. Instead, as you can see, the results today, it turned out to be a family dynasty, a legacy now carried on by Louis Farrakhan. No one can deny this fact. Malcolm was killed because he was laying the groundwork for creating a blueprint for the revolution. He was cut down right before he was to address the General Assembly at the United Nations and bring the problems facing the black man of America before the nations of the world and the General Committee. America via J. Edgar Hoover did not want this bomb to explode on their paradise. We were not a recognized nation, but Malcolm had lobbied Egypt and China, who would sponsor him there before the assembly. Through Malcolm and his shadow army, a revolution was being organized and carried out. Malcolm had made a deal with China, and this was a great concern to our country, America. Knowing the inner power struggle of the Nation of Islam, a mole had been planted at the highest security level of the nation, who also trained death row prisoners to assassinate Malcolm. These hired to be trained assassins would be protected, it was told them, upon mission completion. This operation did not go right. These trained assassins were tracked and killed by Malcolm's shadow army. The men who were locked up many years for the murder of Malcolm were men who were very close to him, but were not there the time of the murder. So we see the objective was to get rid of Malcolm and all who were his confidants, etc. This way the revolution was assured to be annihilated. From the inception to the demise of Malcolm, the Japanese played a great role in the mindset and direction of the nation. My objective here is to highlight the folly of black nationalism, which in the end will prove unfathomable black intergalacticism. Now, I would like to show you the parallel movement to Nation of Islam, the black nationalism. At the same time the nation was forming, an African king was being crowned. Old Marcus Garvey prophesied of this event. We call Garvey the father of black nationalism, true or proper. All the black nationalists looked to Africa and its new king. like Malcolm, who would become spokesman of Elijah, and his mentor, Farad, one Bob Marley, a musician prophet, rose to sing the message of the King, saying, "We free our people with music." A new movement was born parallel to the Nation of Islam. But in the end, we shall meet. This parallel was truly a movement of peace. No one was killed for disagreeing with the King, etc. You are now in tune. On the one, the force itself, at this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming. Many has asked me over the years, why do not the government tell us what is going to happen, what is going on, etc. They have been telling you, but you have not been believers. To stop panic, they allow this communications tool they have, Hollywood, to deliver the message, Esoteric. It will happen just like they said it would. They have said it already. This is called the way of the Illuminati. We have currently, at the start of year 2011, we see thousands of birds falling from the sky as millions of fish die in the oceans. 81 years ago, we did not see this. We did not hear of pole shift in 2012 and the coming of the Anunnaki of Nibiru, which I am a believer. We read in the news that the magnetic poles have shifted towards Russia and that airports in Tampa, Florida had to move and repaint the numbers on runway because of this magnetic shift to correspond to compass readings of incoming planes. Many who do not want the public to see the connection of these events with 2012 debunk all notions of such. That current events are signs of 2012. In the year 2003, about 8 years ago, a movie was copywritten called Core, C-O-R-E. Check that movie. Which points to this day exactly written. It's about the shifting of the poles and the magnetic fields, bringing down crows out of the sky and planes missing the runways, just like down in Tampa they had to realign runways. Check it out for yourself. So we find in the Rastafari movement, what are we to do at this time? I ask you who will to help me in this endeavor of the Master Blaster Jamming by sending me donations of any amount. Contact me via email, messenger, etc. that we discuss this transaction, that I inform you how to address me and send your donations. For many years now, 29 to be exact, I knew this day would come, and I have been putting this message out via my over 365 videos at YouTube and my website at unn13.com. I need help. I need your help, that I would be able to maintain and travel, if necessary, to make contacts as soon as possible to pull this endeavor off in time. If anyone would like to join me, let me know. We must save ourselves. We cannot wait on the government, etc. It's time for action now. No more talking, no more debating, arguing about what you think you know, etc. It's time to prepare. It's time to save ourselves. Many things we have talked about will happen this year. One thing must happen, and we must implement our safety net by any means necessary. You're now in tune. On the one, the force itself at this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming.